My boss is threatening to fire me for corporate extortion. But honestly, I think I just leveled the playing field. I'm a 26-year-old woman. I work as a graphic designer at a small, cool marketing agency. My boss, Dave, is 42. He insists on bringing his 80-pound golden doodle, Barnaby, into the office every single day. Barnaby isn't a bad dog, but he is completely untrained. He knocks over trash cans, he drools on slacks, and he steals lunches. Dave just laughs and says he's a growing boy. Last week, I treated myself to a pair of Sony noise-canceling headphones. They cost me $400, literally half my rent, but I needed them to focus. Barnaby barks at delivery trucks all day. Yesterday, I stepped away to the restroom for 3 minutes. I left my headphones on my desk. When I came back, Barnaby was under my desk, happily crunching on the left ear cup. They were destroyed. I was shaking. I brought the mangled plastic to Dave's office. He barely looked up and said, "Bummer, you really shouldn't leave expensive toys where a dog can reach them," the poster. Personal property isn't covered by company insurance. I asked if he was going to reimburse me. He laughed. For a mistake, no, be more careful. Here's where I might be the a-hole. We had a massive pitch for our biggest potential client in 20 minutes. I am the lead designer. And the final slide deck, the only copy with the latest analytics, was on my encrypted external hard drive. 10 minutes before the meeting, Dave asked for the file. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "I'm having trouble focusing on the file transfer. I'm just so upset about being out $400. It's really affecting my workflow." He turned purple. "Send the file, the poster." I replied, "As soon as I get a Venmo notification for $420, tax included, I think my focus will clear right up." The clients were logging into the Zoom waiting room. Dave was sweating bullets. He called me a brat, pulled out his phone, and angrily tapped the screen. Ding, $420 received. I sent the file immediately. We won the client, but Dave hasn't spoken to me since yesterday afternoon, and HR just scheduled a performance review for tomorrow morning. My coworkers are split. Half say I'm a legend. Half say I blackmailed my boss. Am I the a-hole? So am I the a-hole, or is my boss? Drop your verdicts in the comments. I found a deed to $1 million house, in my husband's name. We're eating ramen to survive. I'm 26 years old. I literally found a deed to a $1.5 million property, in my 29-year-old husband's name. I was hunting for quarters to pay for the laundromat. We've been married for 3 years. We are drowning in debt. We have $45,000 in combined student loans. We live in a tiny studio with mold, and our 2008 Honda screams every time we turn it on. I was looking for loose change in his junk drawer, which he forbids me from touching. I found a false bottom in a wooden cigar box. Inside was a property deed and tax documents. It was for a home in a wealthy suburb just 20 minutes away. The paperwork showed the mortgage was paid off. 4 years ago, I felt like I was going to throw up. I drove to the address immediately. It wasn't a rental property. It wasn't a shack. It was a stunning, modern lakefront home with floor-to-ceiling windows. I peered through the glass. It was fully furnished. Utilities on, just gathering dust. When Mark got home from his warehouse shift, I didn't scream. I just set the deed on our wobbly IKEA table, right next to our stack of final notice bills. He turned ghost white. His explanation? He inherited it from his estranged grandfather. Before we met, he said he kept it secret because he wanted to build a life from scratch. He wanted to be sure I loved him for him, not his assets. He called it a character test. Here is the part that is making me physically ill. Last month, I sold my late mother's vintage sapphire ring for $800. It was so we wouldn't get evicted. Mark drove me to the pawn shop. He held my hand while I cried in the parking lot, after handing over the only heirloom I had left. He watched me suffer, knowing he had $1 million safety net sitting empty 20 minutes away. And that's not even the worst part. Now he's crying. He's saying he planned to surprise me with the keys on our 5th anniversary. He says I'm ruining the romance. By making this about money, I feel like I'm living with a stranger who watched me drown for sport. He says I'm overreacting to a good intention. Am I crazy for thinking this is divorce-worthy? Would you divorce him over this? Let me know what you think. I discovered my husband is making money by making fun of me online. But that's not even the worst part. I'm 27 years old, and I feel like I'm living in a twisted episode of Black Mirror. I honestly don't know if I should scream or cash the check. My husband, Dave, is 29. He's always been the quiet, supportive type. 6 months ago, he said he picked up a freelance copywriting gig. He wanted to help with our debt. Suddenly, the money started rolling in. We paid off $12,000 in credit card debt. We fixed the AC. We even booked a trip to Cabo. I was so proud of him. 3 days ago, my younger sister sent me a TikTok link. The text said, "Is this Dave?" I clicked it and my stomach dropped. It was a skit account with 1.5 million followers. The video featured a man wearing a messy blonde wig, my hair color. He was screaming at a camera about how the dishwasher wasn't loaded, aesthetically. The man was Dave, but he wasn't just acting. He was reenacting an argument we had asterisk verbatim in our kitchen last Tuesday. I scrolled, there were hundreds of videos. My psycho wife cries over burnt toast. POV, you married a Karen. He was taking our most intimate, vulnerable moments, my anxiety attacks, my petty gripes, my insecurities, and turning them into comedy skits. He plays the chill, long-suffering husband, and I'm the unhinged villain. The comments were vile. Bro, divorce her yesterday, and she belongs to the streets. One video alone had 4 million views. I confronted him immediately. I expected him to panic, but he just opened his banking app. He showed me a balance of $48,500. Babe, look, he said, his voice terrifyingly calm. The internet loves a villain. Nobody watches happy couples. I'm not cheating. I'm not gambling. I'm monetizing our drama. This paid off your student loans. He promised he uses a voice filter so nobody knows it's actually me, except my sister, apparently. He claims it's creative fiction. But it's not fiction. It's my life. Every time I get upset now, I see him reach for his phone to write down a note, and I wonder if my tears are going to buy us a new couch. The worst part, I didn't tell him to delete it. I looked at the bank balance, looked at our paid-off bills, and walked away. Now I feel like I'm selling my soul for financial freedom. Am I the crazy one for letting this continue? Am I the a-hole for letting this go on? What would you do? My husband tried to steal $2,000 from our son. Then he called me abusive. My husband is screaming. He's yelling through the locked bedroom door. He says I'm committing financial abuse. But honestly, I feel sick to my stomach. I'm 34. My husband, Mark, is 36. We have a son named Leo. He's 14. Leo is an incredible kid. While his friends played video games all summer, Leo was mowing lawns and walking dogs. He's been saving every penny for 2 years. He wants a high-end gaming PC setup. He has exactly $2,450. It's in a custodial savings account that we manage. Here's the issue. Mark's brother, Dave, is a disaster. He's 40. He works odd jobs. He constantly needs bailouts. We've lent him over $5,000 in the last 3 years and never saw a dime back. Yesterday, Dave called. His truck broke down. He needs $2,000 for a new transmission, or he loses his construction gig. Mark begged me to take it from our emergency fund. I said absolutely not. We have a mortgage and our own bills. Dave has burned us too many times. Mark stormed off. He muttered about how family helps family. I thought that was the end of it. 2 hours ago, I got a notification on my phone. It said, transfer initiated, $2,000 from Leo's savings to checking. My heart dropped. I immediately logged in. I canceled the pending transfer. Then I changed the passwords. I changed the banking app password, and the joint email password too. When Mark tried to complete the transaction to Dave, it failed. He came charging into the living room. His face was red. He admitted he was going to take Leo's money. His logic, get ready for this. He said, Leo doesn't need the computer until school starts in September. I'd pay him back with my holiday bonus in December. He wouldn't even know it was gone. I lost it. I told him he was stealing from a child, his child, to fund his brother's incompetence. I told him he isn't touching a cent of our money, or Leo's money, not until he agrees to counseling. Now Mark's mom is texting me. She's calling me a heartless witch. She says I'm letting Dave potentially lose his job over a toy computer. Mark says I humiliated him. I locked him out of his own finances. I'm protecting my son's hard work, but they are making me feel like I'm destroying the family over money. Am I the a-hole? So am I the a-hole, or is my husband? Let me know in the comments.